On a change. I can see that. Is there anybody that came after I left? Yeah, I already met you. And yes, you came. Tell me your name again. Shyam Gupta. Yes, correct. Welcome. ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We had left Arjuna and Lord Krishna in the Gita garden when I left. And just to recap, because it was at least 2 lifetimes ago that we studied this, just to bring us back on the same page, a small summary will be given before we go forward. So we started off by way of introduction, thinking about the Bhagavad Gita and each of its chapters as a trip to a beautiful botanical garden with various area where the flora keeps changing. And we saw the first chapter. Even though the skies were bright and beautiful, there was a personal rain cloud on Arjuna's head. And Arjuna is in a state of despair, despondency, and even though a terrible reckoning is due in terms of his connection, in terms of his relationship to these antagonists in the Mahabharata, Duryodhana, etc., etc. Still, what is happening is that he is unable to do what he is supposed to do. What is he supposed to do? Fight. That is, he is a warrior. He has to do that. He did not take a vow of non-violence and become a sadhu. He tries though, but it is more out of an escapism, we saw. So he is not able to do that because he has a very difficult relationship with his cousins and with the so-called other side. And what is this relationship? In modern psychological parlance, this would be called a trauma bond, a trauma bonded relationship. And what is this trauma bonded relationship? Trauma bonded relationship means that even though one is having a kind of an abusive relationship, one keeps making excuses for the abusers and keeps on trying to perpetuate that relationship, thinking it is not as bad as it is. and as bad as it seems, and thinking that it can be improved, and thinking I can't live without these people. And this is literally what he says. Na kankshye vijayam Krishna, na rajyam, na bhoga, na sukhani cha, kinno rajyena govinda, kim bhogaihi. What for this enjoyment, what for this bhoga, what for this rajya, what for this sukha? And then finally, kim jivitena va. Why should I even continue to be alive? Yesham arthe kankshitam naha rajyam bhoga sukhani cha. For whose sake all these things would have been more enjoyable. Rajya, bhoga, sukha, kingdom, rajya, bhoga, all the objects of enjoyment. And sukha, what is sukha? Ananda, happiness derived from the above two. Yesham arthe kankshitam naha, for whose sake all this was desired, they are only not going to be there. And how can I enjoy? But they are the ones oppressing you. This part was completely lost to him, and so therefore he is in a very difficult situation in the first chapter. That is why it is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Yoga here doesn't mean union. What does it mean? Topic, chapter, topic. And so Arjuna Vishada Yoga. And then from there he, desperate situations call for desperate measures. And what is the desperate measure Arjuna tries to take? Anybody remember? Yes, the first two desperate measures he does. The first desperate measure is, let me get out of this situation. Oh, but how can I get out? Well, there is a wonderful Hindu dharma loophole. And what is that? Buy some orange clothes. Yes. Check with your skin tone which shade suits your skin tone best, and then get into, what is it? Sannyasa. Get into sannyasa. Why simply be like this? And the sannyasa means what? Sarva karma sannyasa. This is the definition of sannyasa. You give up all roles, you give up all actions. And you're just, only two actions are allowed, adhyayanam and adhyapanam. Study and teaching. And there is no option. If you don't study, you can't teach. So you cannot say, okay, I haven't studied, but I will teach. That's not how it is. Adhyayanam and adhyapanam. Those are the only two things allowed. Bhakti is allowed. You are just there with Bhagavan. You study, you teach, whatever you are capable of, you do. It's a very small, one or two roles. No other role is there. And you give that up for the sake of this knowledge. Arjuna first tries this, not for the sake of knowledge, but out of this feeling of desperation. And then he comes to his senses and takes another desperate step. What is that step? Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. I am your shishya. Shishya teham. Shadhi. Don't confuse it for shadi, okay? Yeah. Shadi means wedding. Shadhi means please teach me. Teach me, I have come as your shishya. Now I am your shishya. This is the beauty. You don't wait for the guru to choose you, because that's never going to happen. That's spiritual romanticism. You decide to say, I want this knowledge, and I have chosen you as the preceptor, as the teacher, so you have to teach me now. And to that person, the person becomes a guru. There is no general guru. Even though we address all the Shankaracharyas as Jagat Guru, the gurus of the world, but that's just out of a sense of respect, that's all. There is no general guru. That person becomes a guru to the person who approaches her or him. That's how it is. And so here, Lord Krishna now cannot leave. Even though the battle is raging, he has become a guru to Arjuna, and so he has to teach. But first, a little bit of, what should I say, when the person is in shock and repeating the same things again, rocking back and forth, sitting silently in the chariot, having all the symptoms of a panic attack, which Arjuna was indeed having, terrible panic attack, first panic attack recorded in history. And what was he having? He kept on saying, Gandivam samsrate hastat. The bow is slipping from my hand. Why is it slipping? Palms are sweaty. One sign of panic attack, anxiety. Tvakcha paridahyate. I feel feverish. My mind is all over the place. Na shaknomi avasthatum bhramativa me manaha. Plus, I am starting to have bad. I'm starting to see I'm starting to see everything as a bad omen. Viparitani nimittani pashyami. And so this is all very, this is all, he's having a panic attack and he's repeating himself. He goes into a huge diatribe about how his people will all die, and then there will be a gender imbalance. Women will outnumber the men, and women being vulnerable are not able to prevent foreign attacks, foreign invasions. And then when the marauders from other countries attack, and then what will happen? They will overpower the survivors, and then they will impose their own culture and way of life, and our Sanatana Dharma will bite the dust, will not be there at all, it will just disappear. This is where we left him on this sad note in chapter 1, but chapter 2, this is now we are coming to the today's talk. Chapter 2, suddenly we see he is into a wonderful area. Bhagavan with his magic drives him to an area in the garden where there are no bugs at all, no mosquitoes, no bugging people for that matter, no problems. It's a land of enchantment. It's almost a make-believe. It's something you can't even think it exists. Everything is free of any problems, and Bhagavan drives him there to show him this is the real nature of you. There is no fight. What fight are you talking about? Where is the fight? Where are the Pandavas and the Kauravas separate from themselves? All that there is you. These people are just like, what is that? In Indonesia we have that, shadow puppets, like the dance of the shadow puppets. So they will have a screen and they have cut out very nice puppets with, it's almost like filigree work in cardboard or thin wood. And they make them dance behind the chitrapata, behind the curtain. The curtain never opens in this act. The curtain is flooded with light, and then from the back, and then behind the curtain these puppets dance, the shadow puppets. How can you see the shadow? Because of the light. And so this light, which is the light of consciousness, described by Bhagavan, is beautifully showing the war in the form of the shadow puppets behind the curtain clashing against one another. Yes, there is strife, yes, there is conflict, but all this is shadow because the light alone is revealing the shadow, and without the shadow is dependent upon the light, just like mithya is dependent upon sat. No mithya, no sat. So therefore, so this light of sat, the truth of one's own existence is sat, and chit, because it is light, it is sentient, and it is forever. It's a light that is never going to dim, never going to change, never going to alter. And so this light of consciousness is what is revealing the shadows. It is a place, it's a place of wonder and delight, because it is all light. And this is the nature of the I. There is no problem, and so there is no solution needed. In fact, Arjuna has to be brought out of his despair after shaking him up a little bit. Sometimes you have to pour water on somebody who is in shock. Sometimes you have to slap them a little bit. Sometimes you have to wake them up. And Lord Krishna happily does this job at the beginning of chapter 2. We'll be seeing all this in detail. This is just a appetizer. So the main dish is inside this book. Okay, look how fat it is. Yeah. So so therefore he's woken up from his stupor of this circular thinking. All this war and destruction, war, death, destruction, can't kill my own people. He's singing a raga out of this. He has made it a refrain, and he is woken up forcibly by Bhagavan, who then, in this wonderful enchanted area of the Gita garden, proceeds to unfold the nature of this I as free of strife, free of duality, and free of destruction. The I in you is the I in me, is the I in he, and I in she. There is only one I. This is the first thing that is unfolded. And the second thing that is unfolded is that this I is equated to the ruler of the universe. This I is Ishvara. This I is non-separate from Bhagavan. And then this I is not subject to destruction by the five elements, not subject to come to an end. What comes to an end is the body. There are certain laws, and those laws every body, pun intended, has to follow. Everybody has to follow those laws. And what are those laws? That whatever is born comes to an end, and whatever has come to an end is subject to birth. So that which is subject to beginnings and endings is not you. You are the witness of both the beginnings and the endings. You are not the that which is subject to beginnings or endings. Then how do I look at the beginnings or endings? Here he is told that look at the beginnings or endings just like you throwing away an old t-shirt. T-shirt you have been wearing, and then it is what? Worn out. In fact, it has become a holy t-shirt. More holes than fabric. Then, even though it's your favorite t-shirt, what do you have to do? Yeah, say bye-bye to it one day, and then you have a new t-shirt, and then you happily put that t-shirt away and wear the new t-shirt effortlessly. In the same way, this Atma, which is not subject to beginning, which is not subject to end, it wears different t-shirts. What are the t-shirts? Bodies, that's all. Atma. So in your t-shirt you know where, how to take it on, put it on and off, But this t-shirt that we come with has a zipper, but we don't know the location of the zipper. It's like a body suit. A suit that is the body, and then how these people who go surfing and all wear this wet suit, it is called. It is hugging the body, and they have a zipper, and then you zip it up and then go in the water so that you don't catch a chill and you can be in the water. They go in very cold oceans, etc. So here also there is a suit, you just don't know where to take it off, that's all. You don't know if it is front button or back button or where is the invisible zipper, you don't know. But this too is a suit, and it comes off and then a new one comes on after one is gone. This is how to understand the so-called beginnings and endings. And then, so this is the first portion of the teachings in chapter 2, and then we go to another area in the botanical garden. And what is this area? This area is very beautiful also, whereas the other area was just like a wonderful, perfect garden without any problems at all, and it was just like a picture perfect garden. And this area of the garden is got a lot of potential. You see the seeds, but you have to sow them to get the flowers. You see all the you see the saplings, but they have to be put in the ground. You see the buds, but you have to wait for them to flower. You see the fruits, perhaps, but you have to wait for them to ripen so that you can enjoy them. And of course, whereas in the first portion of this garden, this area of the botanical Gita garden, everybody was transfixed and looking at the nature of the eye, the enchanted, all pervasive, wonderful nature of the eye. And here is, we shift into a work mode. Eye doesn't have to be worked for, eye simply is. You don't have to strive to understand the eye. You just have to understand it. You don't have to strive to manufacture the eye. It is already there. It happens to be whole. It happens to be limitless. And so, therefore, there is nothing to do. But at the same time, what to do with all the doings that one is already busy with? What to do with that? I'm already busy with lot of doings. I have a finger in every pie, and then many irons in the fire, as they say. I can't drop the doings. For the one who is not ready for this knowledge, you give this teaching and then they will say, okay, what next? Okay, this is done. What should I do next? I have studied Kathopanishad. What's next? What's next? What's next? And so, the so-called Atma-Jnanam starts when this question, what next, stops. The place for Atma-Jnanam is made when this question, what is next, comes to a stop. And that is what we have to see. Then, there is something to be said about preparing for this knowledge. In fact, without preparation, there cannot be any knowledge at all. No knowledge, no preparation, no knowledge. And so, therefore, preparation is 9/10 of the game. Gaining the knowledge is only 1/10 effort. Preparation is 9/10. You have to get yourself ready. And how to get yourself ready? How to get yourself ready to know that you are not the doer, you are not the karta. How to get ready? Ironically, by doing. Oh, then I was already doing before. And how were you doing before? You were doing before in order to manufacture the results of action, and now you change the motive of the doing. And what is the motive of the doing? The motive of all your action is what? Self-growth. You change from gaining the results of action as the motive for the doing to self-growth as the motive for this. Self-growth. And so when that happens, when that change happens, then the preparation is underway. Fully, we can say, underway. In other words, we need a lifestyle that is conducive to gaining this knowledge. And that lifestyle of reaping, harvesting, sowing, all these things, collecting, winnowing, all these metaphors of doing, skillfully and strategically deployed, these actions themselves become a precursor to the discovery of myself as actionless. And so therefore, so that's why the area of the second chapter and also up to chapter 3 and 4 are also various iterations of this alone. And so here we can see that there are two things that are being talked about. One is this knowledge that is given fully. And what is this knowledge? You are without a second, you are whole, you are free, you don't need anybody or anything. You are not dependent on anyone or anything at any given time, no matter what, and you don't need anything at all. This and you are free of sorrow, strife, pains, fears, afflictions, you are free of all of them. This is the vision. So this vision, if one is able to assimilate right here, right now, then what can we do? We can say the closing prayer. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam, we can say. Why? Because this knowledge I have understood. Nothing more to say. In fact, there is nothing more to say at all. This knowledge I have understood. So then, what to do? I am not in that place now, because I understand in the class it is very, very crystal clear. And after the class, brain fog. Brain fog or Vedanta fog develops. So therefore that means there are certain things in the way. So therefore the preparatory lifestyle is for those who need that preparation, which is what? Majority of everybody. As I said, nobody comes to this knowledge willingly. It's either accidentally or kicking and screaming. So the only two options are there. Very few people come to the knowledge willingly. Why? Because there are too many things in the way. And those too many things in the Bhagavad Gita are described as strong preferences, raga, strong prejudices, dvesha. These two things are, everything is summed up into these two things. Your anger, the fear, all these things come under raga and dvesha, which are the byproducts of strong preferences and strong prejudices. So therefore, what has happened? What has happened here is a very interesting scenario of two kinds of lifestyles. So what comes out from this discussion is two kinds of lifestyle. The first, solely dedicated to knowledge, where one burns the bridges, burns the boats, burns whatever else there is to burn. You're not getting a stipend, this is we have to be very careful when we see this, because even though in other traditions also monasticism is there, but then in organized religions, the monastics get a stipend from the church, from the sangha, whatever it is. Here, we don't have any stipends. It's you, the sannyasi, and the sky. That's all it is. And like the Yati Panchakam, an ode to the sannyasi says, what does it say? That the tree is your home. That is the real estate that you are living under rent free, which is nice because you can migrate to another tree if you don't like this one. You can go to some other tree. And then the fine dining china that you have, what is that? It's called bone china because it has bones. What are the bones? Hands. This is the plate. See how nice it is? This is the spoon. If you want spoon, you hold it together. If you want fork, you make it separate like this. That's all. So this is the fork and spoon. Moolam taroho kevalam ashrayantah panidvaye panidvayam bhoktum amantrayantah. Kanthamiva sarvam kutsayantaha. The one who discards everything in the world as though it's like a bark of a tree, which many people don't find useful. Kaupinavantaha khalu bhagyavantaha. The one who wears a loincloth, the one who has a loincloth is indeed the most fortunate, because very little upkeep. Very little upkeep. Loincloth doesn't mean you have your whole wardrobe and then you also buy a loincloth. That's not the idea. You only have loincloth. Somebody asked me this question, so I have to be very careful when I talk. Yes. Somebody asked the question, so if I go and buy a loincloth, I'll become like them? No, you won't. Okay? It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. We can't even call it lifestyle of minimalism, because even in this new minimalistic movement, where each one is trying to say, I am having less than you, there is a competition. See how little I have? That becomes a competition. You have to prove a point there. But here there is no point to prove. There is nothing to prove, there is nothing to approve. They are not seeking your approval, they are not seeking validation of this lifestyle, they are just in their own glory. Or if they are not, they will soon be in their own glory, because what will they do? They will be just with the knowledge, and then gain the clarity that is there. This is called lifestyle number 1, and this is called Jnana Yoga. This is not yet called Jnana Yoga. In the beginning of chapter 3, it will have a new name called Jnana Yoga, because Jnanam eva yoga, Jnana Yoga. So that Jnanam is that knowledge itself is the yoga for this. The lifestyle of this is itself the yoga for this knowledge. A lifestyle dedicated only to knowledge, nothing else, no other activities. And then for the faint of heart, who says, that is a little daunting, this I don't think I can do. I don't think I can live like this with bone china, and then sitting under the tree, and then having just me and the knowledge. I can't do that. Which is what? Most of the people in the universe belong to the second category. In fact, they are the majority. And so for them, a different lifestyle is recommended, and that is called Karma Yoga, where, as I mentioned, paradoxically, the action itself, one's own day-to-day actions, are used to climb on to the ladder of actionlessness. The rungs of the ladder are various actions strategically deployed, and whose ends are not important to me. Usually the ends of action are very important. The results of action nobody can let go. Here you are not asked to let go of the results of action. You are asked to channel it towards your own emotional growth, self-growth, spiritual evolution, etc. And so this second lifestyle is Karma Yoga, where action is converted into worship. We'll see all this in great detail. Action itself is converted into worship. And in this worship, there is no room for procrastination. It puts the mind and the body on a diet of discipline and being present, being mindful, and it's like a walking meditation. It's whatever you're doing, it's that kind of a meditation. Office meditation, walking meditation, computer meditation, whatever you're doing, it's a worship, it's a form of worship, it's a puja everywhere. And this lifestyle means that I'm still focused towards gaining the truth of myself, but I have all these desires also which I cannot let go of. I want so many things in life. can I have it all? Can I have the cake and eat it too? It's a very big question. Yeah. Somebody said, buy 2 cakes. Yeah. Eat one and keep the other. So, here the answer given by Lord Krishna is a resounding yes. Why? The desires are put in the head by whom? Who is the author of all your desires? Bhagavan. In fact, Bhagavan goes as far as to say, I am in the form of desires that do not violate dharma. Dharma aviruddha bhuteshu kamaha asmi. I am in the form of desire that does not violate dharma. And so therefore, this becomes a training ground, a stomping ground where the body and the mind and the thoughts and the everything, the emotions are disciplined in order first to drop the raga dveshas and then get ready for the knowledge. And these 2 themes are very prominent in the Bhagavad Gita. They are very, very prominent in the Bhagavad Gita because what there is that these 2 recurrent themes keep coming up, and then we say this at the end of each chapter too. Also, at the end of every chapter we say this, iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su. Thus, in this Bhagavad Gita, Gita Su, the plural, is because of respect. For respect, the plural is used. And then Upanishadsu, the Gita is called Gitopanishad because it has flagrantly violated copyright laws and copied verses verbatim sometimes from the Upanishads. And this is the only body of knowledge where plagiarism is not only allowed but encouraged. Please copy from the Upanishad. Where else will you copy from? You have to copy from the Upanishad itself. And there's nothing new that you can say. Whatever you have said, whatever you think you are just now discovering has already not only been said but debated and made threadbare. And the argument that you think you thought of has already been made what? Threadbare through analysis. So, we look at this properly, we have to see this, and so these 2 lifestyles are talked about at the end of the chapter also, Upanishadsu. And what is this? Brahma Vidya, the subject matter of the Bhagavad Gita, even though it focuses on doing, is actually moksha, freedom from doing, freedom from entanglement, freedom from enmeshment, freedom from dysfunctional actions and relationships and connections. In other words, freedom from fear and sorrow, aka samsara, also known as what? Samsara. And so this is the Brahma Vidya, this is the first topic of the Bhagavad Gita, and then Brahma Vidyayam, 7th case, Yoga Shastre, also 7th case, like Rame, Yoga Shastre. So, Yoga Shastra means what? Karma Yoga Shastra, the lifestyle. So, the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads are, it is a vision with a committed lifestyle in order to understand this vision. So, Yoga Shastre, and then how is this given? Krishnarjuna Samvade, Sri Krishnarjuna Samvade. Samvada is a special kind of a dialogue between the teacher and the student, which is fruitful for gaining the knowledge. So when the teacher talks, if I am keeping on interrupting the teacher, then that kind of a dialogue is not fruitful for gaining the knowledge. Who needs to gain that knowledge? Shishya or Acharya? Shishya. So what should the Shishya do? Listen quietly and ask questions that are pertinent to one's growth. This is what is called pariprashna. And so therefore, these two strands, one life dedicated to dropping everything, one lifestyle, and studying, and the second lifestyle studying along with doing other things. And you see what is not optional in both the lifestyles? Study. Karma yogi has to be a student of this knowledge. He or she has to study. And what about Jnana yogi, the one who is for this knowledge alone? Obviously she or he also has to study. Study is common to both. What about bhakti? Bhakti is common to both. Bhakti, Shraddha, Seva, all that is common to both. How it is expressed is there we have some freedom. You can say, I want to fulfill 110 desires and also want moksha. As I am fulfilling this desire, then the Gita will tell you, go ahead, fulfill the desires which are dharmic. Don't give way unto desires to rob a bank, etc., etc. Those things you need not pursue. Pursue the dharmic desires. And then there has to be a radical change in your outlook as the desirer and as the pursuer of the desire. What is that change? You have to let go of the results of action directly and indirectly wait for self-growth. Because whatever you want, you don't get. That's the law. Whatever you don't want, you get 2 or 3 helpings of. Yeah. I think I told you here Swamiji, Pujya Swamiji's Karela story. Did I tell you the Karela story? No? It must have been in the previous course. So, when Pujya Swamiji once went to New Delhi and somebody hosted him, one lady made lunch for him. Lunch for sannyasis has a fancy name. What is it called? Bhiksha. It's just lunch. Everybody else has lunch. Sannyasi has Bhiksha. That's all. So she made lunch for him. Bhiksha was ready. And then she had prepared this bitter gourd, Karela. And then he didn't care for Karela at all. He just said, "Theek hai, it's okay, not great." And he had very much a sweet tooth. So then, but out of politeness for the hostess and the cook, he ate it all without any complaint. Now this lady became very famous in all the circles. She had hosted a successful lunch for Pujya Swamiji. And so the next time he came to Delhi and was invited by somebody else's house, that lady called this lady and said, "What should I make? Because he seemed to have enjoyed the lunch in your house." She said, "You can make whatever you want, but make sure you make Karela." Swami loves Karela. Pujya Swami loves Karela. Please make Karela. And so she said, "No problem." And so from appetizer to dessert, it was Karela. Okay? From beginning to end, Karela, Karela, here a Karela, there a Karela, everywhere, Karela, everywhere, this bitter gourd. And so this Karela, being chased by Karela, continued in Pujya Swamiji's life. Because somehow everybody thought he likes Karela and everybody started to make Karela, Karela everywhere. And then so Pujya Swamiji said in narrating this story that he had no option but to start liking Karela. So the whatever you don't want only comes. So what to do? You give up the don't want and say, okay, let it come. Then you are in a much better space. You are not fighting with the thing all the time. You are not fighting shadows. Whatever comes, you say, whatever is there. I grow from a person who wants to do whatever he or she likes to a person that likes whatever there is to do. Do you see the difference? Yeah. In the beginning, everybody is a person, I want to do whatever I want to do. I want to do as I like. But then maturity lies in flipping that script. I grow to become a person that likes whatever needs to be done. Then you're no longer in conflict. You're no longer gnashing your teeth at night. And you're no longer in resistance. You are in acceptance, and you have already grown to love whatever there is to do, and you grow similarly in this knowledge also. So, now introducing the so Adi Shankara has written a beautiful Bhashya commentary for the entire Bhagavad Gita. It is this thick. This book is of this book has the commentary. It is very thick, and so we will be studying chapter 2, but we will not refer to the Sanskrit in the Bhashya, because I don't want to lose the audience, because as soon as we start talking Sanskrit, what will happen? Everybody will, you may be physically here, but the mind will just go. So we don't want that to happen. So until one gets some smattering of proficiency in the language, I will be teaching the Bhashya in English. I will refer to certain Sanskrit sentences, phrases as need be, but I will explain it. Okay. So this is the this is how we will be doing it, and at the same time we will also be studying the Bhagavad Gita second chapter verse by verse. So first the verse and its meaning and its tatparya, what it is committed to revealing, and then what Adi Shankara has to say about it, only in which language? English. Okay, yeah. So in your copy of the Bhagavad Gita, do you have the dhyana shlokas? Yes? No? No? Okay. We won't chant them today. I'll give it to you. I will send it to you, and then we'll start chanting it and seeing the meaning tomorrow. So for now, I'll just go on with this itself in that case. So the Adi Shankara has a beautiful what is called Upodghata Bhashya. Upodghata means introductory Bhashya for the Bhagavad Gita. Introducing the Bhagavad Gita, he says the following. He picks up, so first of all, there are many things to do. I will do that by and by. We don't have to worry about it. First, we have to define what is Upodghata. We will do that tomorrow. We also have to define what is Bhashya. That also I will do tomorrow. But for now, suffice it to say that it is just an introductory Bhashya, and the introductory Bhashya brings with it a beautiful discussion flowing from where we have just left off in terms of the two lifestyles. Bhagavan says that Adi Vishnu, Mahavishnu, in the form of Narayana, what did he do? He incarnated himself to walk the earth as Bhagavan Krishna. The question, the million-dollar question is, why did he do that? Second question, how did he do that? So why did he do that? To Adi Shankara's mind, it is very, very clear. So there were these two lifestyles that was given by Bhagavan in the Upanishad. Which Upanishad? Ishavasya Upanishad. This we will be studying in the September course. So Ishavasya Upanishad, and there the two lifestyles are given in the first two mantras. First is what? Tena tyaktena bhunjitha ma gridha kasya svidhanam. Protect the self. Self doesn't need protection. Antahkarana here. Protect the self, protect the Atma, Antahkarana, protect the mind, etc. How? By giving up everything. Like the Yati, aforementioned Yati. Okay? So protect, how does renunciation and protection, how do they go together? Renunciation and protection go together because this mind, otherwise mired in all kinds of preferences and prejudices, will not let go. It is protected by letting go of everything. This is first lifestyle. Everything is given up. Sanyasya shravanam kuryat. May one listen to the Shastra having given up everything. And then the second lifestyle is given in the second line of the Ishavasya Upanishad, Kurvan eva iha karmani jijivishet chatagam samaha. May one continue to do their job and at the same time pursue this knowledge and live for hundreds of years. Very happily, let them live for hundreds of years, no problem. And so, these are the two lifestyles. The Upanishad is also given by Bhagavan, naturally. Gita is also given by Bhagavan, and so, like this. So, one marga is called Pravritti Lakshana Marga. Pravritti Lakshana Marga means a path that is dedicated towards reaching out to get what I want, hugging all the things I have and protecting what I have, and then throwing away what I don't want and keeping at bay things that I really don't want to come. Throwing away things that somehow I have accumulated that I no longer want, and then keeping at bay things I never want, like disease, etc. This is called Yoga Kshema. Yoga praptasya apraptasya prapanam, gaining what I don't have. Kshema praptasya rakshanam, protecting what I have. These two comprise the pravritti lakshana. Pravritti means approaching, going towards. And then the sannyasa marga or jnana yoga marga is nivritti lakshana, is characterized by nivritti. What is nivritti? Withdrawal, retraction from what? Pravritti. So, opposite of pravritti. In pravritti, in the pravritti lakshana marga, one is bahirmukha, facing outwards. So, there are lots of axes to grind, there are so many things to get, there are so many people to settle the scores with, and so many things one wants, so many things one doesn't want, all this is there. And one acts on those things and leads a life which is called, characterized by pravritti. And in the nivritti marga, in the marga, the way of life characterized by nivritti, what happens? It's the opposite of that. Here there is a conscious withdrawal, a deliberate withdrawal from everything. All the activities, all the things that I used to do, there is a conscious and full, complete withdrawal, and then whatever feelings come up, I deal with that. One deals with the feelings and grows out of them. So, this is the Nivritti Lakshana, and these two have been taught by Bhagavan himself, Adi Shankara says, and then because it is taught by Bhagavan itself, it has become a cornerstone, a core teaching from in our Sanatana Dharma, and then it has to be preserved. This is how he begins his Bhashya. Then he says that it has to be preserved, but it cannot, over time. In the Bhagavad Gita also says, and then he says, Yogaha proktaha puratanaha. I had given this knowledge long before. Sakalena iha mahata yogo nashtaf parantapa. But because of the passage of time and certain other things, the rise of adharma globally, and the rise of various kinds of wants and trendy things, all these things make it very difficult to follow this twofold marga. People follow neither, unfortunately. They are somewhere in between, like the sage Trishanku hanging between Swarga and earth. And so, like this, there is a truti. Truti means chuti. Chuti means fall. There is a chuti from this. There is a fall from this very graceful and very well known, very well suited paths, or what do we call it? Lifestyles that were given. People are not following either. They are mixed up. They have Shankara, mix up between the two lifestyles, or they are not following either one properly. And to rectify this, the avatara of Narayana in the form of Bhagavan was done. First to rectify this, to reinstate dharma, to reinstate these two lifestyles so that one can come back on track with all the jivas frittered away due to their raga dveshas in every direction. So these two lifestyles were the cornerstone of the Hindu dharma, and to resurrect them, to rectify them, to repair them, this chapter, this Bhagavad Gita was begun. Not only the Bhagavad Gita was begun by Lord Vyasa in order to do this, but also the knowledge itself, the avatara itself was begun for this reason. So this is the reason for the avatara, Lord Krishna coming. And then the next question is, how did Lord Krishna come? How is anybody born? Why are people born? What is the cause of birth? Karma. Karma is the cause of birth. If there is no karma, there is no need to be born. But there is karma. And then because of this, and why is there karma? Because there is ajnanam. Which came first? Tree or seed? That's how it will be if we try to understand what is the source of ajnanam, karma. What is the source of karma? Ajnanam. This is how it will be. Because ajnanam doesn't have a beginning, thankfully has an end. Thank God. So, like this, when we look at this thing, we see that there is a connection between the dropping of this discipline and the rise of this avatara. The avatara is very much interested, Bhagavan is interested in restoring this and giving humanity these crutches with which to walk until one gains this knowledge. And then, how did this avatara come? Does Bhagavan Krishna, Bhagavan also has karma? We should sleep on it and then answer this question tomorrow. Does Bhagavan have karma? No. Why? Because there is no ajnanam. We already made this connection. This is very easy. Ajnanam and karma are connected. Does Bhagavan have ajnanam? No. Abba, that at least we have established. And then, does Bhagavan have karma? No. No ajnanam, no karma phala. So then, if one is born due to karma, and then Bhagavan has no karma, and if karma is the cause of birth, how is this avatara born? Other people's karma. Other people's karma? Yes. Everybody prays. Trahimam, pahimam, save me, help me. All these people are oppressing me. The Kauravas are too many in number. And the Satvik people, Dharmik people. It's like all these unsavory elements, adharmic elements are sitting on these people. They are suppressing them. They are not letting them, shine. And who are the people that are being sat upon and suffocated? These people are the people who uphold dharma, Satvik people. And people called the Brahmanas. Brahmana is not jati, is not a so-called caste or anything. The word caste itself should be cast out. So, but here Brahmana means Brahmani Charitum Sheelam Asya Asti. The one who has the capacity to keep contemplating upon moving in Brahman. So when Brahma Vidya itself is on the decline, and so how does the avatara come? Through all the prayers of all the dharmic people, sattvic people who are wanting to be free. And then their prayers, prayer is a karma. So the karma of the samashti prayers gives rise to this magical body. And what is this magical body? A body made of one's own maya, magic. We'll see what that is all. Tomorrow we'll see. Tomorrow we'll come back to the regular schedule, which is what? Meditation, 7 o'clock, and then Upanishad class 8:15, and then chanting. After that, Bhagavad Gita, and then the rest of the time, whatever else, we'll put it also on the WhatsApp group. We will put that. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.